Hi folks, I'm Lee Brunellen of the Natural Health Clinic, and today we're going to talk about early signs of a silent killer. Many times that this silent killer is discovered, it's too late. What is it? How can you avoid it? We're going to get into all of that right after this. So what is this silent killer? Well, the silent killer that I'm going to be speaking of today is pancreatic cancer. And as you know, that this is, basically a death sentence for many people, and that once it is diagnosed, it is oftentimes in very late stages, and frequently it's too late. So what are some of the early signs that this could be affecting someone? Let's go over those. There's about 7 of them. And so the first one is sudden weight loss. That probably gets the attention of most individuals, but in the case of pancreatic cancer, it is definitely an early warning sign. The reason for that is that the pancreas is actually a digestive organ, and it has a lot to do with the production of insulin and the stability of glucose and utilization of glucose throughout the cells in the body. Next, a constant lower abdominal pain right around the navel, or a dull pain that could be from the navel going all the way into the back of the spine. You can also have some pain in the left shoulder, and it's not so much like sharp pain, but it's more of a dull, aching, fairly consistent pain, and you may find that it actually becomes worse sometimes after eating. Jaundice. Jaundice is when the whites or the sclera of your eyes start yellowing, and this is because of congestion within the biliary system, and there is a connection of the biliary ducts to the pancreas, so that can sometimes cause this congested state of the bile and therefore jaundice. Chronic diarrhea. I mentioned earlier that the pancreas is a digestive organ in part, and one of the main things that it does is to secrete and manufacture enzymes. So if there's a problem within this area, one of the symptoms that can begin is chronic diarrhea. Diabetes. Now, if you have diabetes and been diagnosed with diabetes, it doesn't mean that you also have pancreatic cancer, but diabetes can be an early warning sign of prostate cancer. Well, why is that? Well, that's because the tumor within the pancreas, the cancerous tumor, may start growing within a certain area of the pancreas, and that inhibits the function or starts interfering with the function of the cells that are responsible for the secretion of insulin. And of course, as you may know, once insulin starts being impeded in some way, then a person can develop diabetes. Also, an individual may feel full very rapidly after eating a small amount. So we're not talking about a 7-course meal and you feel full. That should happen. And by the way, that's a lot of food. But if you eat a very small amount, like 1 or 2 spoonfuls or 3 spoonfuls, and all of a sudden you feel very full, that can be a sign that something is wrong. It may be that you feel bloated very rapidly after eating this small amount. And again, this has a lot to do with those digestive enzymes that the pancreas is responsible for. An overwhelming feeling of fatigue. It doesn't matter how well you sleep. It doesn't matter how much you sleep. No matter what, you have this overwhelming sense of fatigue. It doesn't mean that you're tired by the end of the day. That should happen. That's completely normal. But you sleep well, you wake up in the morning, and it's almost as if you cannot get out of bed, and it stays that way until it's time to go to bed the next evening. So what if you have been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer? What are some of the things that you may be able to do other than what your physician has already recommended? Well, first thing is, do not eat sugar. Do not eat any type of sugar. It does not matter if it is natural, fruit, honey, raw turbinado sugar, it doesn't matter what it is, and do not consume any type of sweeteners that may also stimulate the blood sugar handling system of which the pancreas is part, such as artificial sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners have been shown to also stimulate the blood sugar handling system. So, first thing, remove any sugar within the diet at all. Now, there are some studies that are showing that microbiome health may contribute to or help with this type of situation. So making sure that the gut is healthy, and that does not mean just flora. It's not simply taking a probiotic. We're talking about true balanced microbiome health. One of the very best things that you can do if you have been diagnosed with this condition are periodic prolonged fasts. So when I say prolonged fast, I mean fast of 48 to 72 hours. So we're looking at 2 to 3 day water fasts, nothing else, no coffee, no tea, nothing like that. Only water, 48 to 72 hours, 2 to 3 days. And doing these periodically, a couple of times a month, a few times a month. That can help a lot, because one of the main things that it does is it starves, in effect, it keeps resources away from the tumor, so hopefully it will not continue growing. Now, it's noteworthy that pancreatic cancer is typically diagnosed later in life, 50, 60, even 70s, and that can suggest that one of the foundational components to it may be chronic inflammation. So making sure that your lifestyle creates the least amount of inflammation possible within your body, looking at your HRV status, which is actually showing oxidative stress to your cells, to your physiology. Oxidation is the degeneration or the rusting, if you will, of your cells. Inflammation is one of the main things that can cause that. So if you can increase your HRV, that means you are decreasing oxidation, therefore decreasing inflammation. In fact, HRV, heart rate variability, has been shown in many studies to be extremely accurate as a predictor of overall health. Another huge risk factor to take into consideration is alcohol. So if a person has been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, they certainly do not want to consume alcohol at all. And being very moderate in alcohol consumption is a very good idea anyway. Vitamin D can be very helpful in many forms of cancers, including pancreatic cancer. Usually this is very high dose vitamin D. When I say high dose, I'm talking about 100,000 IUs daily. This can actually shrink the cancerous tumor, and it also helps the immune system respond as well. Now, it's far better than dealing with it if you can avoid it, right? So what are some of the things that can be done to hopefully avoid this form of cancer and really all types of degenerative disease, period? Good sleep. So making sure that you get adequate amount of sleep, not only an adequate amount of sleep, but also sufficient amount of deep sleep, REM sleep. So we're talking about high quality sleep. So do the things that are necessary in order to make sure that you're getting a very high quality form of sleep, such as not looking at any screens for at least an hour before bed, making sure that your environment is cool, making sure that your sleeping environment I'm speaking of, is dark, that there are no artificial or even natural lighting sources coming into the room. These simple things help you to develop better sleep. Reduce stress. We hear this all the time, but it is extremely important. Remember that the pancreas is involved in the blood sugar handling system. That is your stress system. That's how your body adapts to stress, needing more fuel or more glucose if you're under stress or under demand. So by reducing stress, you can take demand off of this very system. Targeted forms of exercise. So it's not just going out and doing Zumba or cardiovascular training, or some kind of dance class or boxercise or whatever's popular now. its targeted forms of exercise can be helpful, and it's not many times a week. It may just be a few times a week and only for short durations of time. Fasting, obviously fasting is incredibly helpful. And when I refer to fasting, I'm really referring to water fast of at least a 24-hour period. Longer is always better. Now, some of the things that you can consume that may be helpful are cruciferous vegetables. Those are vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, etc. Berberine. Berberine is very helpful at stabilizing glucose. Same as metformin has been found to stabilize glucose, obviously, and metformin has also been found to be anti-cancer, potentially, and berberine is very similar. And lastly, don't ignore symptoms, but at the same time, don't become paranoid, because that will increase stress, which is what you're trying to avoid. So I hope you found these things helpful and informative. If you did, then do me a favor, please, and that is like, share, comment, send this video to friends or family, and maybe it will help someone that you know. Also, if you are struggling to attain your own health goals, then I personally invite you to an initial consultation. That's what we do all day, every day, is help people attain their health goals through a completely customized step-by-step program that literally takes you by the hand and leads you to whatever your health goals may be. So if you're interested in that, you can call our office, you can talk to Brandy, and she will help to schedule your initial consultation to identify what may be impeding or inhibiting your progress, and also if we can help you, and finally, the exact plan that you need get you to those goals. Once again, my name is Labrin Allen. I am the founder of the Natural Health Clinic, and thank you for watching.